Hello there everybody, welcome back to episode 18 of my tutorial series for Songs of SYX version 66. And with this episode, while I'm recording this, finally, version 66 is official. So I can finally return on this work, because I did give it a break as I saw many late game things being changed. So thanks for your patience, for all of you who had to wait, and well, probably while you're watching this doesn't even matter anymore. Now then, where will we go next? Our city is now a thriving little place. Our current biggest issues are a lack of food production and a lack of denarii. So we're going to work on these things while we're going to introduce medicine and psychology, because it's darn time to include physicians and asylums in our city. So let's unlock these real quick. So these technologies will fulfill pretty much the last few of services that we don't have. Well, there are a couple of new massage parlors, or however you pronounce that. I guess I need to check that up. Whatever. So there are a few more services that we can provide, but as you see there, we have covered most of it. There's still a lack in the booze industry, but heck, what can I do? It is just what it is. So let's see. To gain ourselves as much money as possible, obviously increasing our productions all over the field is going to be the wisest choice. Our city is in itself sustaining itself really well, and let's check out the numbers. We seem to have a heavy overproduction of grain by now, so let's check back with our bakery. Luckily, we have more than enough capacities to produce more here, so let's get started with that. Also, I want to point out that we have a hidden housing crisis. So when we click in here, you see that there's a color coding, and the yellow code here means there's not enough houses. So on paper, we have more houses than we need. In reality, they are sitting at the wrong place. This is because the labs eat up a ton of workforce, and yeah, that means we're going to expand on that here just at that point. Here we go. Let's do a double one. We're no poor people anymore, and we're after that going to consider how we're going to expand our bakeries. Currently, the city has one big issue. There's a lot of people dying each year because humans just have a short lifespan. I mean, you will eventually always hit the point in your cities where people are dying quite regularly, and that is the point where you really need to take care of your death care. Yes, very, very important. Let's check back with our main graveyard. Well, I hope that one day this gets fixed, that people actually get buried here as well and not all get crammed into the crypts. Because I personally don't think this makes sense. This is one of the biggest issues that I got with the game, but well, it is what it is. So we have a blight happening on our herb farms. That sometimes happens. It just means you have to start all over again. But well, in reality, the herb farm is really just an icing on the cake, as we don't really do much with it. I am also considering this series as, well, we have a few more episodes ahead of us, but we are done with most things. But, well, I'm saying that now. Remind me of that when we hit episode 30 or something like that. Okay, as you see there's now officially not enough housing anymore listed. So we do set up those new houses, and that should fix the problem. Also, you can see here that science is now evolving gradually again. Devolving gradually again. Alright, so turns out we have still not enough housing here. Wow. Let's check back with the heat map, but yes, that's what it is. Alright, crazy. That was the last thing I did expect to happen, but, well, not that much of a biggie. I got you, fam. Alright, so the easiest ways for our city to earn money are food, clay and pottery, I think. I personally always love to rely on the type of material most that I can mine locally, because that is just one hell of a powerful income source, always. Alright, let's give those guys some proper roads back here, and then we check back to the other areas. So now we finally have the workers we need for the extra grain that we're producing, because a net positive of 190, well, we either could now invest into more booze, or more bread, or both. So let's see how much pottery are we producing each day. Tons of it. So I'd dare say we're going to go both ways. So let's see. Amp up the worker numbers here until all the 15 are in. And it's all clocked in here. And then we're going to recruit new bakers. Doesn't get up to me. So, here we go. And with those guys, we're going to staff out this place now fully. Let's see. There we go. How much consumption do we get together now? Well, that's okay for me to get started with. So let's check back with our consumption and production rate. We see here that we produce a lot of bread, but not so much fruit. I think it is also about time that we start planting out an orchard or something like that, because that'll be a much more efficient production method of fruit. So let's do this. We are currently searching for all ways and means to increase our food capacity and or well, how to put it, our ability to produce money. Yes, I think this sums it up quite decently. Because at the end of the day, we need denaries now as the next step to conquer the rest of the world. Oops, I keep forgetting that we can't right-click out of this window. But, yeah. Now that we have settled the deal with the food production, we won't go for the orchard next. We're going to go for the hospital. I just reminded myself that, no, we do have already the hospital. The physician and the asylum. That's how it's called. All right. So the physician is yet another high quality service that you don't need in excessive amounts. Smaller buildings suffice. And we're going to work here again with, let's see, something like that. And it's for me the same policy as usual. Since these workplaces are so tremendously costly, I think we're going to expand this a little bit here, like that. Whoopsie. Since these workplaces are so tremendously costly, I like to keep them smaller, so we can't just copy-paste yet another one when we want to expand. I mean, look at this small shack. It's 36 tools. Alright, to cut stone, we have plenty of that. But 36 tools are quite a lot. Which, yeah, it forces me to do something I don't like to do. We need to import that stuff now regularly. Doesn't help. That is one of the big advantages of a city that can produce iron or metal in general. It is such power card as it allows you to not only build a lot of things that are hard to build, it also allows you to just, how to put it, export things for a crazy amount of denarii, be totally active in warfare. Metal is one of those real power resources, and totally pays off to pay a high price to have an ore deposit on your home turf. That's what I say. Alright, so we're going to have an import policy of, let's say, 120 tools. They are gosh darn costly. This will rip a hole into our wallet directly, and I already feel bad for myself, but, well, it's worth the money. As the physicians now will also take care of all the problems that arise when accidents happen and such. So it's a really, really good thing. And the next one is the asylum. That'll take care of the insane people in your city. Alright, let's make another 7 grid. So here's the thing that I have discovered recently. Every grid size of 7 is very preferable. As you see, once it goes for 8, you have to stabilize it. If you stick in a width of 7, you don't need to stabilize anything, and you can use the entirety of the room. This is, well, use it if you want to, you don't have to, but I find it interesting enough to point it out. The asylum is dirt cheap. As you see there, we don't have any issues in paying that except for the metal, which hurts my feelings, but yeah, that's pretty much about it. So deranged people in your city, they just wander around and sometimes give you a warning that they are starving. By the way, that was a very smart comment a while ago, who pointed out that probably that random starving person is the deranged person, and that must be it. That must be absolutely it. So, thanks. I love it when you guys point out something like that. So, let's check back with our current situation on the fruit front. Everything's nice on the fruit front. So, there we go. With these extra services in place, the immigration request on our city is at an all-time high. So this is really, really where we want to be. Let's check back with our burial situation. As you see there, wonderful. And also, I want to point out, these burial spots, they free up again after a while, so you don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, so yeah, these services are, as a matter of fact, that easy. And I don't know, I think the asylum doesn't fulfill any needs, it just heals crazy people. Technically, you could be a lot smaller than me, so 1 or 2 cells would absolutely suffice. I went a little bit on an overkill here, because now the rest of the time the people here will be, well, just, oh, it needs rations. We need to buy some. We don't want to kill or insane people accidentally by starving them. That would be really, really not too nice, wouldn't it? So let's go and buy ourselves like something like, I don't know, 50 rations. I mean, the good part is we are so filthy rich in resource that we can simply sell things away. You can also just earn yourself your denaries by manually selling things via diplomacy. You see, it's really no issue there. Oh, another accident at the woodcutters happened. They happen all the time. Alright, so, let's see. We have 2 people dying there. Oh boy, that's a tragedy afterwards. But yeah, the new doctors that we've installed will help remedy that issue in the long run. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a survey. Okay, so that's something that I want to show you as well. Every service building that you click, let's see, I'll show you one positive example here, the food stalls. So as you see there, all of these are devoid of service. And if we zoom out further, they are covering pretty much the entirety of the city. So far, so good, but it seems to me that people are not really happy with the food stall situation. So let's see, incoming amounts. Yeah, there is something incoming, but obviously our food stalls are... It's a weird thing. But I think we just need to install more food stalls. Your city does reach the point now where you need to distribute things differently. Oh, and that's why the service situation among food stalls got changed. See, they're no longer... Ah, here they are. Ah. So you can see we are at 56%. Just confused me that the screen has changed again. And that is a clear sign that we just need to set up a couple of them more. The food stalls that we are currently fielding are rather small variants, so we might just need bigger ones to get the people, to satisfy the people's needs. Either way, this is what we are going to do next. Because it's really important that you keep those food stalls stocked. They are making sure that the people are eating their favorite food, and therefore it's really important. Because if people eat their favorite food out of the warehouse, they won't receive any particular happiness bonus for that, which is a shame. Okay, let's see. The big gun food stall is now being stocked up. And I think the big issue with those small food stalls is that they can't withstand the pressure of so many people. And the other thing that I left out of the equation, which is really a bigger problem, is that one person on a food stall cannot carry enough stuff on himself. That's the problem. Because there you see this food stall is always devoid. So what we're going to do to alleviate that, we're going to allow them to auto-employ. So that should fix up the problem that there's not enough workers. We'll see what that'll do. You see, people are getting employed because our problem at this front is mostly a logistical one. So let's rehire people. So Songs of SYX at this point of the game transforms more and more into a logistics simulator of sorts. All right. So let's see. The next step on my list that I want to fulfill is the embassy. Not the embassy, it's the administration. We have set up paper production the other episode, if I remember correctly. Yep. And the next thing that I want to do is make sure that we got also the necessary capacity to govern all that stuff. So here goes. Administrations cost you workforce and paper. That's a major deal. They also are pretty much such a big deal that you should dedicate a whole area of your city to that. Because the larger your empire grows, the more administration points you'll require. In a nutshell, it follows this this equation all the time. So we're going to go therefore for a big shot building here. Studded with some pillars. And then, well, we already know how these things work, don't we? So we're plastering the place now with all the work places that we can bring up. Oh, that shape really didn't play out well, but you get the idea. I'm very sorry for all the feelings that I heard among the optimizers of you. But, yeah, feel free to do it better in your own city. I'm just demonstrating this whole method for itself. So the good thing here is that we got the ability to put in carpets in here. I love that. Always, because carpets are just such a wonderful way to increase efficiency of a building, but in this regard we might need to delete one of our workstations. But as you can see here, you can carpet that whole gosh darn place, every single free frickin' inch of it. Isn't that nice? And before you know it, you put on every last piece of it a carpet to make it look nice. Anyways, so this is work ahead of its time. So I'm going to finish this place, but I'm not going to staff it right now because, well, we would be wasting our workforce at this current stage of the game. The very important next stage of the game is now that our city is stable. We need to increase our income sources so we can conquer a area around our city. This is the most important thing for us. So let's see. Don't I have a ration maker, say? I was so sure that I set up one the other day. There, but it doesn't work. Okay, we're going to allow the ration maker to make some bread into rations. And let's see how the situation evolves. Or devolves. So, our bakery is working fine. That is a good piece of news. I was a little bit worried for a moment. And it seems that the administration is ready. Okay, the administration will consume tons of paper each year. If we compare our current paper production with our current consumption, let's check back with it. So, the administration isn't that bad. But we're not going to go for that. This is right now a wrong investment. No, we're going to set up ourselves an orchard so we can create more of that fruit on a more compact environment. So here we go. We're going to pack the orchard here, and unlike farms, we now get to place trees. So the trees, well, you might already have guessed it, make up for the orchard's capacity to produce fruit. And as you see there, we gain a 40 pieces of fruit a year. So this little square here is as productive as this big slot there. That is, or no, as this one here. Yes. Obviously, we want to put canals around that as well as on around the other things. Same old story all over again. Alright, so currently it looks as if our food situation would be bad, but as a matter of fact, there's just more food stored in the food stalls now, because I went for a big swing and increased the total amount of food stalls quite substantially, and therefore, well, you get the idea. That stuff is now packed into the food stalls. Eventually, it should fill back up into our city's warehouses, because eventually we should be backing up, but currently it doesn't look that way. But well, keep an eye out on these numbers always, as this is where your city will stand and fall. Alright, so as we see there, probably we need to add in a crypt sooner or later yet again, but we'll see about that. And yeah. We are currently earning money and surviving, yes. Except for the babies, they are starving, but that was just a momentary situation. That's because we had to invest a bit of the fruit harvest into the orchard construction. Alright, check back with the housing screen. Everything's fine now, except the pump people up there don't have enough place to live at, so we're going to get ourselves 2 luxury homes back there. By now, you might already have noticed what kind of an insane scope the city's gained the larger the city grows. And, well, it can totally fall on your feet, okay? It's really no shame if that ever happens to you, because obvious reasons. It is just gosh darn hard to balance out everything at all times, and just a smidge of growth too much, too quickly, too early is all it takes to just topple you over. So we are going to go and now research some new technology. Probably, yeah, I want to go a little bit more into the crop optimization tech, because we are quite some farmers in our city, and that doesn't really stop right here. So the problem of the orchard is it takes now around 4 years for the thing to get to produce anything, which frankly said sucks. But it is what it is, and we need to stomach it as it is. Until then, it would be smartest, I suppose, to increase our production of bread just more. As you see there, we have what it takes to get the job done. So let's see how we can do that. Our laboratory capacity, let's see, we have still an entire lab ready to grow tech points in. Wonderful. But at the same time, I really feel like I want to set up another grain farm. But yeah, well, look at that. Our farmers district is by now a quite brimming industry. Yeah, that's pretty normal to happen the longer you play. And I'd say we're shift left clicking this to get ourselves just the next one of these monstrosities down. Here we go. There's enough people aspiring immigration into our city that this is not a big deal at all. And more grain allows me to finally build a second bakery. I mean, what did we think? That we would be endlessly able to just get along with just one bakery? Hell no. That's not how it works. The second bakery is more like a proof of our success, you see. Alright, at the same time, we should check back our charcoal. We're net negative at this point, so let's set up some extra charcoalers, and we should probably consider some technology upgrade at the same time. As you see, there's so many various little gauges that you can use to change things. It's wonderful. I personally think it is. All right, hired a few more people, but we're working. We're careful here. As you see there, our bread stockpiles are emptying at an alarming rate. But well, if you look at it here, there's still way more bread in the food stalls available than there is visible on the map. So tell you what we're going to do. We're going to delete now some of these too small food stalls. So the ones that have only this super small capacity, I'm going to delete some of them, because we really don't need that many different distribution points. It just makes our stockpiling look horrible, but as a matter of fact, things aren't as horrible as they look like. All right. Beautiful. So, to close up what we did today, the administrational points that we can produce, they will be found here. And once we have conquered a world, a city, which our neighbors have conquered Utsicht for us, so we can now let go of the ambassadors. Luckily, I have my spies on the other cities here. You gotta look for those cities with a tag of free lands. Otherwise, conquering them has the negative side effect of getting yourself into a full-fledged war with an entire faction. You don't necessarily want that. So, Versailles is at a point where we should be pretty easily able to conquer it, but it is a little bit far away from us, but what gives? We gotta start somewhere. Anyways, not during this episode. But yeah, we have now pretty much everything prepared that it needs, and that is a piece of gosh darn good news. except for the fact that we are lacking ore as it stands. So let's see. Let's import some ore. And my good friends, next episode, I will prepare a pile of money, and then we're starting to conquer our neighbors. Because in the city management part, you have pretty much seen it all now. There is not much more that I can explain. I think at this point, you should really be able to find out what is missing by yourself. The only thing that I would love to cover eventually are temples, because these are a little bit different than other services, as they have a bit of a different gameplay mechanic, but yeah, we'll be getting there. So thanks a lot for watching yet again. I'm so happy that you're around. Drop me your comments, pardon me, drop me your comments down below, and feel free to leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I'd be super happy if you did so. And yeah, feel free to check out the description box. There's a lot of links down there. Among these, the entire playlist for this series. And yeah, there's also some links to financial support for Icon Gaming. I would be more than happy if you would consider it. And a big thanks to all of the supporters of the channel. You truly are amazing. And yeah, thanks for watching yet again. Deeply appreciate you all. And next episode, we're gonna go to war. See you there.